Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to look at channel 19 to 49 and the impact of this when it is in the planetary transits. If you aren't sure what that means, please go and watch the other videos that'll be linked below, because I'm not going to go into too much detail around that here. So the reason I am doing this video today, which is the 10th of January 2023, is because currently gate 19 has been activated by Venus and gate 49 has been activated by Saturn. So if you're watching in real time, gate 19 is in Venus. It will be active for around 3 days from January 9th or 10th, depending on where you are in the world, until January 13th. Gate 49 has been activated by Saturn and has been active since approximately the 11th of November, again, depending on your time zones, and will be active until the 20th of January, creating channel 1949. I am going to start by sharing 3 examples of how we can leverage this channel at home, in business, and from within. And then I'll go into some more geeky details. So if all you want to know is, what do I do with this information, Amy? Then watch the beginning bit. How did you come up with this information, Amy? Then continue watching right until the end. Playing with this channel in the home. So by home, I mean our friendships, our loved ones, our surroundings, our relationships, even to some degree, our recreation where we go out and play. So that's what I mean by home. So playing this channel out at home, it's time to revisit the bonds and connections that you have with your partners and your children, to explore the emotions that are coming up and the pressures that are in play. So this is a space to have conversations, to have open dialogues, and explore which emotions are in play and which pressures are in play and how they are connecting. When a channel is moving from the root up into the emotions, there is a sense of pressure pushing on the emotions, or the emotions connect to and build up a sense of pressure, depending on which gate is more powerful for you. Having the conversations. One of the things that this gate does, or this, more accurately, this channel does, is it brings out our desire to touch and to connect. And that can be done in a really resourceful way or a really unresourceful way. And so depending on the emotions in play and how emotionally triggered we are from the pressures that are coming into play from this channel, will determine whether we want to hug our loved ones or whether we want to hit our loved ones. Hugs are great. Hitting is not quite so ideal. Hugs even require consent. Hitting, you're probably not going to get consent. So perhaps have a punching bag on hand if you're going to allow for that pressure to be released in a more tumultuous relationship or a more emotional relationship. For people that don't generally have the emotions center defined or the root center defined, this is going to define those centers for you and is going to bring to life more of either of those, depending on which one's not defined. So for myself, my root is defined. Pressure is something I am very familiar with. Pressure is something I'm comfortable with. Pressure is something that I know how to navigate. It's something I've been navigating my entire life. It is something that I'm reasonably defined in, and I understand my relationship with it. Emotions, on the other hand, are something that I'm less familiar with in terms of having to face and feel into my own emotions. Sometimes I find it quite grounding, particularly with the work that I've done around deconditioning and the work that I've done around connecting more with myself and my innate wisdom, my inner guidance system, or my inner authority, if that's the language you're used to in the human design. But for some people, this is going to bring up a whole pile of emotions, and it's going to bring out emotions coupled with pressure. And so contemplate that as you're navigating through even just daily things like household chores or getting kids off to school. Not that we're doing that in Australia right now, but whatever it is, keep this channel in mind, because particularly if neither of these are gates that you usually have, there will be a lot of pressure build up and come through with emotional expression. Moving on to in business, this is a time to reflect on your ideal clients. This is a time to reflect on the rules that you have around who you will and won't play with in your business, who you will and won't work with. It's also a great time, if you can, to break bread with your existing clients, have the conversations, see what pressures are coming to the surface for them, how that's impacting their emotions, particularly if you're a coach. It doesn't matter what kind of business you are, you want to connect with what are the pressures your clients are feeling, what are the emotions that they're feeling in this moment, recognizing that they're not always going to feel them, but this is the time where these are connected, the pressure and the emotion. So the feelings that we have start to connect with a pressure to do something, a desire to act on it. And the desire that we have to act, the pressure that we feel is going to come out through emotion. So playing with this, exploring this with existing clients, and doing that through breaking bread, having meals with them, having fairly laid back, easy conversations with them to draw from them information that you need to be able to market to not only your existing clients and serving your existing clients, but also to expand your business. So it's a great time to connect with your existing clients, and also to, and this starts to shift in that gap between in business and from within. It's a great time to connect inwardly with what are our rules, what are our guidelines, what is it that matters for us that we can reflect on across all of our relationships, whether it's business or at home. Tap into where you need to feel needed and the areas that you want to feel wanted and the areas where you don't. So explore the rules that you have in play, explore your boundaries, explore your emotions that are coming through, and explore the pressures that are coming through and how they connect, how you can allow yourself to feel that duality of wanting to be wanted, needing to be needed, but also allowing others to want to be wanted and need to be needed as well. This is a harmonizing, balanced channel that allows us to create reciprocal relationships rather than one-way relationships. And ideally, it is tapping into how this is for you and what those boundaries are and what those needs are, what the pressures are, what the emotions are, and how they're coupling together and joining together. So if you have either gate 49 or 19, normally in your chart, this is a time where you can leverage that connection and that feeling of completion and understanding. If we've got hanging gates, so where we've got half of the channel active, we're craving the other side of it. And so if your natal chart, your regular human design chart, has gate 49, then leverage that feeling, that sense of actually having the resources. So 49 comes off the emotion center or the solar plexus and is going down to the pressure center. So you'll feel the emotions, but you won't quite connect to the pressure to follow through generally. This is where you will start to follow through. Those emotions that you've been experiencing start to transform into action. And for those with gate 19, which is one of my own chart hanging gates, then we've got a bit longer with Saturn around right now. That'll vary depending on when you're watching this, but if you're watching it at the current time, so like I said, January 10th, 2023, we've got Saturn hanging around until around the 20th of January. And gate 49 comes with our ability for that pressure to move into emotions. And that may have you wanting to hug the world and life is good, or it may have you wanting to hit the world because life isn't quite playing out the way you want it. Either of those is an appropriate sensation to have, whether you want to hug or to hit. And then, of course, making sure that you follow through in a way that is resourceful. So now let's dive into the geeky details. This channel 1949, is found in the tribal circuit. It's focused on communities and the laws or the rules that we create, which is why it is a space of boundaries. It is a space of building balanced relationships, those reciprocal relationships. It's about group work and connection. It is not an individual channel. It is a tribal channel. So it is not about us doing this on our own. It's about how we interrelate with the people closest to us, our clients, our families, our friends, our colleagues, those people in our inner community or tribe, depending on the word we want to use. So they call it the tribal cycle, but it also could be called the community circuitry. This is our core circle. It's our inner group. It's people that we actually have connection with. So we've got the tribal cycle, we've got the individual circuitry, and then we've got the collective circuitry. So the collective circuitry speaks to all of humankind and how we relate with the world as a whole. The tribal circuitry is the people that are in our inner circle. It's our small communities. It's the people that mean the most to us. It links the emotion center through to the root center. So the emotional center, the solar plexus, is all about emotions. The root is an energy center creating movement from a place of pressure. So those emotions and the pressure are connected, and that will create sparks. That will create either a lot of passion coming through or a lot of, but I'm looking for the emotion word, a lot of frustration, potentially a lot of, well, passion. So passion can be pleasurable passion, or it can be more tumultuous, pushing passion, and both will come out. It is a balance game of connecting our own needs with those around us and taking a care and awareness of their needs. So this channel opens our awareness to other people around us may have needs, and wants us to communicate our needs and their needs and come to some level of deal making. It is the make or break channel. So it can be the channel of synthesis or bonding, building, or it can be the divorce revolution kind of space. And so this will play out depending on who you are with and whether they are a match for you and your rules and your community, your tribe, or they are not. And it is really quite a black and white channel in that element. So let's look at the two gates separately, and then we'll look at them a little bit more in depth together. So gate 19 is known as the gate of approach. In the I Ching, it is earth above lake, which gives us 2 yang lines with the 4 yin above, meaning there's quite solid foundations, and then above is all receptive. And so we want to be aware of the foundations that are in place. So this is creating the environment, creating the rules. It's really quite low down in terms of relationship dynamics. It's the very, very basics of boundaries, of bonding, and making sure that needs are met. So boundaries and needs coupled with emotion. So everything is there, but it is the very foundations, the 2 lower levels of foundations growing into something else, blossoming out of it and being receptive to it. The pressure ensures that the basic needs are met, meaning that, so this is one of my own gates and I'm loving tapping into it a little bit more, but it's meaning that there's a full fridge, there's a tidy home, there's a support network, all of those basic needs are in place. And when those basic needs are in place, then we can consider creating relationships. And I then seek out gate 49 because gate 19 is there for me. Someone with gate 49 will have the clear boundaries and guidelines, but may not have the resources to bring it up. So gate 19 is all about the resources. Gate 49 is all about the desire. So gate 19 is built on the pressure of the root and the motion of the root. Gate 49 is built out of the emotion center and out of the feelings of this. Without 49 in place, the deal maker, 19 knows what it wants, but it doesn't know how to get it. So the pressure is felt, but they're not quite sure how to create the relationships that are in place, which is my experience of this gate all the time. Now, the 19 is only here for a short time, and then the 49 has been around a little bit longer. If you have a defined emotion center, you will have been feeling gate 49. So the way the transits work, very, very briefly, and by all means click through, there'll be a video somewhere soon, if not yet, on the transits working. So where we have the planetary transits, where we have a hanging gate, so a half channel in place, that connection, the planetary transits will connect. The other place where we will notice the gates is where we have a defined center and gates coming off our defined centers because there is power running to those circuitries. Gate 49 has been bringing out more of my emotions, so it's created that defined channel. So let's look at gate 49. Gate 49 is the gate of revolution or the gate of divorce. It is very much you are either with me or against me. You are for this or against it. It's very black and white. There is no gray in this. It's you're part of this tribe or you're not. And it is very much survival instincts that play out in this tribal or community circuitry. And so the collective looks at humanity as a whole. The community looks at smaller groups and is built on safety, protection, making sure everything is in place that we need to survive. Comes back to the survival layer of things. So gate 49 is the revolution divorce. You are either for me or against me. It is very emotional, tumultuous, and not expressive so much because it's not connected to the throat. It's more, it's felt deeply because it's in the emotion center. It'll either be very welcoming or rejecting. It is the gate of the breeder or the butcher. So there's a connection to animals and we either love them or we hate them, but it is those extremes. It's a gate of contrast. It also very much wants to be obeyed. This is my emotion. This is what I think you should do. You need to conform with this or you need to go away. And they're the two options. You conform or you leave. This channel, when we combine the 19 with the 49, this channel focuses on the correct strategy for creating partnerships. So somebody coming with the resources and somebody coming with the clear boundaries and the guidelines creates a beautiful partnership. Emotionality plays a part in how this channel will impact us. If we are, and I shared this before, if we're feeling the frustration, overwhelm, stress, we may want to lash out. It's done through touch. But if we're feeling comfort, joy, pleasure, we may want to hug. It is a relationship built on connection and through that physical touch of connection. As a result of this is a great time, as I shared earlier, for us to break bread with family or clients, as it is rooted in family and community connections. And of course, we want to check in on the underlying emotions around that. So I trust that has added some level of value to you. I trust it's also opening up a bunch of questions for you. This is just one tiny piece of human design. We're currently looking at the transits, which is really quite advanced or not, depending on your prior learning, and allows us to look at the planetary positions and how they interact with our strengths, our superpowers, how they amplify our strengths by connecting the channels, and how our hanging gates are affected and impacted by this. And then every now and then there'll be an entirely active channel come through in the planetary alignments, which is what is happening right now. The entire channel is active, gate 1949. And when that happens, there is either a delight in the energy or our triggering is brought to the surface, and we feel, particularly with this connection, we're feeling the pressure and the emotions. And if they aren't channels that we're used to having active, it will bring to the surface all of our conditioning, all of our triggering, may make us more easily triggered. And we need to be aware of that. It may also make us more easily excitable, more easy to get on with things. And so I'd love to know in the comments, how are you experiencing this transit, or how have you experienced it in the past? Do you have either gate 19 or 49 in play for yourself? And if you would like to learn more about what I do, so I am putting together a course on human design and how we can use human design to create a life we love at home, in business, and from within. There will be a link to that below. Please click on it, check it out. If it's a match for you, I would love for you to join us. If it's not a match for you, that's cool. Continue on your journey, continue watching my free content, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.